It's Kevin Kenny. This is the Build series. Those are applause. We are live here in New York City. And our guest today is an award-winning, platinum-selling artist whose brand new album, Love and Fear, recently debuted top 5 over in the UK. Please let's make some more noise for Marina.
Hello.
I'm not just saying this to be polite. Those are some of the loudest cheers we've had at Build.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Got lots
you.
of friends in the crowd today, it seems. That's awesome.
Nice to see you. Thank you for coming.
Round of applause to yourselves. Well, we treated these fans of yours to the music video To Be Human just now in the studio. And what strikes me about that song is just how powerful pop is and how you use, or I should say, you know, it's such a digestible form of music, right? And a lot of people can use it, you know, to just like make little happy songs that don't really mean much, but then you use it to convey these incredibly powerful messages.
Thanks. Yeah, I've always appreciated the power of pop culture to transform the way that people think about social issues. But for myself, I just love pop music. Like, I think what I've realized with this recent album that came out, there's always the same comments every album. It's either like, this is like so indie, like with Fruit, or like, this is so pop, this is so commercial, this isn't Marina. And I'm like, do you know what I listen to on a day-to-day basis is like pure pop. And I think people like sometimes, when you are an artist who crosses between alternative and pop culture, they kind of have like this purity complex with you where they think that you shouldn't be writing pop music. But I love that you said that because I totally agree. I think it's so powerful, but I'm just a fan of it anyway. I love kind of really neat melodies, so that's what why pop has always appealed to me.
Right. I think it was you in an interview, or it was somebody talking about you. They talked about how pop music's almost a Trojan Horse, right? Where the analogy that always comes to my mind, which is probably going to sound terrible, but like when your parents yell at you when you're a little kid, right? And they're just yelling at you, you're never going to get that point, right? But if they sit you down and they speak to you with respect, and they speak to you in sort of, you know, which is rare, but when they do that, that's when the lessons land. And I feel like that's a testament to your music is, you know, sometimes whether it be a protest song or maybe a political song, if it's just so over the top and just beating you over the head with the point. But I feel like you sort of like lull us in there, and it's like, yo, this is a bop. I like this. Wait, what's she talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I should look more into that, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, I have heard that before. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm not that pop actually. Like, Human is quite an orthodox song melodically. What do you guys think? Do you see it as like more of a pop song or more of an alternative song? Fusion.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, but I don't know. It's very strict, like in terms of what gets on radio and stuff in that like cultural sphere. It's very difficult. But I kind of, with my own career, I let go of that a long time ago.
Yeah. Do you even think about radio when you're making music now?
No, because it just it just doesn't work for me for whatever reason. Like if I'm ever on the radio, it's not because of me trying. It's just because it's happened.
Right.
Yeah, each artist has like different processes and goals, but I feel like I've always like I can't help but create exactly what I want. That always wins over commerce.
Yeah. Well, you struggled a little bit at a point in your career, right? I want to say around album 2 with, you know, it was kind of collaboration heavy. Did you feel like you lost a little bit of the narrative there?
No, I like totally constructed a huge narrative in that I pretended to be a different person. So yeah, in a way, you're right. But I think in a response to being encouraged to work in a very, how should I put it? In a very, it's hard to talk about because what springs to mind is the word generic, but what I mean is that the people I was working with were the most successful people in pop music, and they were so talented. But that meant that I didn't have a lot of control, like with production. I didn't have a lot of say in that. For me, my like area was the actual songwriting of melody and lyrics. And so I thought, well, if I'm not in that much control of production, then I'm going to come up with this narrative about female archetypes. And so I did like the Electra Hart wig and the, a lot of visual aspects that people remember. So wasn't a difficult album to create because it was really fun. It's kind of like writing a musical, if you can ever imagine yourself doing that.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. But it was just a bit more tricky to like tour with because there's a lot of personal maintenance, and I just don't have the energy to do that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever see a parallel or a throughway maybe between sort of the loss of control at moments in your career or the lack of it, and then this sort of struggle you've had with uncertainty, which is sort of at the core of the song we heard at the top of this program, "To Be Human," right?
Yeah. I wouldn't relate it to anything that's happened in my career. I just think I personally struggle with it.
Right.
I don't know if everyone else feels like that, but
Why does it bother you so much, the uncertainty? It seems like you have peace with it now, but during the making of this record, why was it such a thing for you?
I think because my whole life has kind of changed after Fruit. I wasn't sure if I wanted to, have this as a career anymore. I didn't know how I was able to like have a sense of well-being whilst doing this. And so I was thinking, well, what else am I going to do with my entire life? Like I was thinking very big dramatic terms, and I didn't know. Once you've been doing something for like a huge chunk of your life, you don't really know where you can go after that. And so that was difficult. But that was totally uncertainty focused. That was my issue. It wasn't that, I might have a change of career. It was just I hated not knowing what was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that based at all, that fear, that uncertainty, was that sort of rooted in this relationship you've had with the artist and the person, right? Because you've said in the past that like, you were so tethered to you as an artist, there wasn't much
You
left
have researched this beautifully. I'm really impressed. I think there was that. I think if you have any kind of public job, it's quite hard to separate who you are in the public sphere with who you are personally and how you are going to integrate those two parts of yourself. But I just like lived in that artist role for so long that I felt like just like a polystyrene person. Whereas now I feel fully integrated. Like, I used to have this real hang up about appearance. Like if I'm wearing makeup or, fancy clothes or whatever, I'm like a different person to who I am at home in like my sweatshirt and leggings. But there is no difference. It's just like superficial stuff that doesn't really matter. Whereas now I don't feel any difference to if I see a fan on the street and I'm like not wearing any makeup and look kind of rough to like when I'm fully made up and I've had 3 people helping me to get ready.
Well, what that makes me think of is something you said earlier in the conversation, is that your fans all have different definitions of who Marina is, right? This isn't you, this isn't you, this isn't you. Does that also carry over into what you're just saying, whether you're all glammed up or whether you're just kind of rocking sweats and hanging out?
Ooh, I don't know.
Like, who is Marina? Do you know now? Do you feel like you know? You don't have to.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you can't really answer that question, but yeah, I feel authentic and honest, and I think that's connected with knowing who you are as a person when you don't feel that you have to be anything except for who you are in that moment for anyone.
So maybe there's a different Marina for every moment. Maybe there's a different all of us for every moment.
For all of us, yeah. I've read many books on this, actually. All of us change depending on context. And actually, my partner is someone who, it's so subtle, the way, like, in context, he, like, barely changes. And he's one of the few people in my life that I've ever met who's like that. It's kind of, like, mad. And he's very, like, natural, authentic person.
Unapologetically himself? Is that
yeah, like say for example, there's a different you for like work or like going to a bar with your friends or like hanging with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, or like being with your family. You alter your behavior slightly because we are social animals and we don't even know that we're doing it. But with my boyfriend, he's like the same all the time, which I think's amazing.
Yeah. That's endearing, if anything, right?
Yeah.
It's very you talk about reading all those books. You read those books in school, I'm guessing, right? Because you went.
No. I kind of with identity, I wasn't really aware of it or like looking inside myself till like 24, 25, and I started to become interested in it.
But you also studied psychology, I understand, at uni,
I did,
right?
yeah, but only last year.
Right.
I just did 6 months in University of London.
That sort of now what has to be a command over the human condition, right? And learning so much more about why we are the way we are, and it plays into the title we'll get into in a little bit. How has that informed your lyrics, though, your songwriting?
Well, I think this record is less about internal conflicts or struggles, and it's more about the world around me, like Human, Superstar. I'm just like, what's my album again? I've just had 3 weeks off, so I'm like, who is Love and Fear? Yeah.
Well, let me take you even a step further back than that. When what is it? About 2 years ago now, right? You pressed stop on it all because you felt like you were getting less passionate about your craft. And this world's been so fast being an artist, right? That it's hard to really understand or recognize what's happening inside of you. So does somebody sit you down? Is this a conversation you have with yourself? Like, how do you realize, how does that loss of passion manifest?
I suppose not feeling the same about things you used to feel passionate about. So one thing that's always been consistent with me is songwriting. I've always loved. That's never gone away. But mainly just things like, I don't know, even at the time doing photo shoots or like gigs towards the end, I was just like, I don't know if I'm like motivated in this way anymore. And maybe that means I should do something else. But this time around, it's so different. I think because I've let go of a lot of things that perhaps I connected to that. Like, my live shows now are so fun, and I've changed the format completely. I went from having a band of exclusively guys to now having like 4 dancers, no band, and they sing with me as well. So it's all choreographed. It's like contemporary choreography. Yeah, so doing things that challenge me in different ways is really good.
Was it more a loss of passion or a lack of passion or a lack of purpose? Because you get to a point
both,
right? Because you're like, why am I doing this? Like I've done, like, I don't know. I think that's when you become very popular as you have, right? You have to come to a point at one point where you go, well, wait, what am I doing this for? Like, what really difference am I making?
Yeah, I think there was a very clear distinction pre like the end of Fruit. I think I was operating as an artist kind of in a more like ego-based or validation-based way, and then I lost the like desire to have that. I didn't need validation from anyone anymore.
Because you got it?
Yeah, because I was happy with myself, and I thought, oh my God, that means like it's gone. I shouldn't be here doing this anymore. And so then you stop doing that and you try other things, and then you think, wow, my sole purpose before has gone. So then you feel purposeless.
Scary.
So this is like really the result of that period. And yeah, this record is kind of, I mean, each record has been quite different, but this is much more of like a mature record. Right. A lot of my previous like vocals have been very melodramatic and stuff. I've seen a lot of comments on that. They're like, why can't you sing like you did on the Family Jewels? I'm like, maybe because I was 21 and I'm 33 now. I am gonna, my voice has changed. Yeah.
As it should. Let's talk about the title here, Love and Fear. It's sort of born out of really the idea, the theory, the truth, that all of our emotions are sort of born out of these two things.
Yes.
Do you also feel, though, that we're equal parts these things?
Yeah, I think they can both be motivating forces in us. I mean, there's a reason why we feel fearful. It's from like evolutionary, reasons. We need fear to survive, and we need love. But I think because this whole chapter of my life had like a psychological backdrop, it was a very fitting, very universal title. So that's why I picked it.
And that concept to sort of split the record, how early on in the process did that emerge?
Oh, it was the last thing.
It was the last
So I didn't
thing.
write with this concept in mind. I just wrote really freely. I didn't even know if I was going to do an album. I was just like writing for the joy of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at the end, I was like, what shall I name it? And I went through and saw what the main themes were that were like kept jumping out at me. I did the same for fruit as well, actually.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
all like nature, 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 nature.
So I like
all
that
the
though, because
songs.
it almost is, you don't know what the album really is about or really the crux of it until the end.
Yeah.
You look back and then you name an album.
Yeah, you should. I don't think you should ever force it, really. Or at least it hasn't worked for me when I've done that. I always, like Family Jewels, I named at the end. Electra Heart actually was pretty early on, but that was kind of an unusual album.
Yeah. Cool. You referenced the new live show, which everyone's really excited about. You're playing here in New York City in September. What can you tell us about tour?
Well, as I was saying, it's contemporary, the format is like a contemporary dance or like theatre show. There's a like tilted, slanted stage on the back. Everything's white, so we have loads of projections on it. It's amazing costumes. I'm doing more choreography than I've ever done. My arms were like so muscly at the end of the British tour. Like I did a yoga class and I was like, wow, I can like go up and I can do plank really easily. There's a lot of like arm work in Superstar. Like, yeah, that's it. That's the main difference.
And then before we turn it over to Twitter, actually, I wanted to ask you about this really cool Pride event you're doing tomorrow, the 28th.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
So it's at the Rainbow Room in the Rockefeller Center. It's famed for being being the venue of Joan Crawford's last public appearance. It's an iconic venue and it's a black tie. It's in conjunction with Born This Way Foundation. And I'm super excited. It's going to be very glamorous. I've got a beautiful dress. I'm so excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Marina, let's go over to Twitter. This comes from @MarinaDNation. Enjoy Your Life is one of my favorite songs on the album and has actually helped to shift my mindset towards a more positive light. What inspired you to write that song?
Good question. It's actually, the answer is in this tweet. I wanted to something that would help shift my mindset. Yeah, I was so miserable. I was just like, I was living in London at the time. I was just really struggling with living there. It's a lovely place, but it can be very grey and dark. And I really wanted to live somewhere more natural. And I was trying to write songs that would inspire me to look at things differently. And I saw this quote somewhere saying, sit back and enjoy your problems. Or no, it was enjoy your problems. I thought that was cute. Yeah.
All right, great question. Let's get to actually a bunch from in studio. The first is going to come from over here. What's your name, man?
Hi, Josh. Nice to meet you. Hi, Marina.
Hi.
Love you. Love your work. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. So we all stand an international queen. I think we can agree on that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And you have collaborated with like Luis Fonsi for your baby song with Clean Bandit. So what's like your dream collab, or like your fantasy collab that you want to do next, maybe?
Oh, God. Fantasy collab.
Your dream team. Like,
Maybe No Doubt.
what
Yeah.
like sound shifts?
Yeah, like as a band, like Gwen and the band. I love Nicky Jam. I love Anita. I love Latin music. And I'm so happy it's like dominating pop culture because it's the best. Yeah, that's it for now. Yeah.
Cool.
Hey. So you've done Electra Heart. I want to know if you could do another sort of persona type album, but focused on a villain. What would she look like? What would her name be? And what would her backstory be?
Love that. I mean, Electra was kind of a villain, dressed up as a pop star. She was a biatch, actually. That's why it was so fun creating her, because I just don't think I could be that in real life. I was like too nice. Yeah, but never say never. maybe I'll end up creating something for a musical. I would love to write a musical one day. Yeah, watch this space.
All right, next question is going to come from over here. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Destiny.
Hi. Wow,
Hi.
your hair is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, mine would just fall out immediately if I did
Already been
that.
falling out. I've changed it so many times. Okay. My question is, did you help design tour outfits? And if so, what inspired the Love and Fear outfits?
That's a good question. I do help, yeah. Me and my stylist Mercedes, we usually go over initial ideas. I wanted to have something that was really powerful and female, and I was looking at a lot of old Beyonce stage costumes. I don't think I'd ever done leotards before with knee highs, so she really helped me in putting a bit of a spin on that. So now we have a train, and we have these weird little sculptural boleros that go with them. But yeah, the ones that are gonna be made for this next run are amazing. Yeah.
Great question. Let's get to the next one. It's going to come from row 3. There we go. What's your name?
My name is Brianna, and in this album, you divided the album into Love and Fear. If you had to do that for a previous album, what album would they be, and what would the categories be? And also, I'm very excited for tour.
Oh. Ooh. That's a really good question. I'm thinking maybe fruit, and I would divide that up. Perhaps maybe in it's quite similar to Love and Fear, but Hope and Despair, because I feel there were songs on it Savages that were from the same vein as To Be Human, but so much bleaker. And I think with Love and Fear, because of the social issues that we've all been through the past 3 or 4 years, I really wanted to see the world in a good light, and it's hard work to do that when everything's falling apart around us. So yeah, probably hope and despair for fruit.
Sweet craft shirt, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Dig that. Great soundtrack. All right, Marina, we're unfortunately out of time, but thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Tour's going to get going big time this fall, and we can follow you.
Big time.
Big time.
It really is.
You heard it here first. All right. Take us out. It's Marina, everybody.